Hany Farag held the following interview.
So on this third day of the conference, we have the pleasure to have with us Mr. Habib Rahman Mayar. He is a representative of G7 plus group of conflict-affected fragile countries, and now we are tackling a special theme about relief, recovery, and peace day. What about to begin? About your participation, about your opinion in this edition.
Thank you so much. As you know, today is the 3rd December. This is a day that has been dedicated to relief, recovery, and peace by the COP28 presidency. The overall objective of this day is to promote the cause of conflict-affected and fragile states that have contributed very less to the climate change. They have contributed nothing to the climate change, but they are bearing the brunt. They are feeling the brunt. They are bearing the biggest cost of climate change in terms of natural disasters, flood, droughts, and famine and poverty. So we are here to collectively provide a perspective of how disproportionately fragile and conflict-affected countries have been affected by the climate change. And we are also trying to promote the cause that these countries have been bearing the biggest cause of climate change, but they have not been assisted in a way that could help them build that resilience which is needed. It's very simple. If you see a flood in California, it produces a different impact than a flood in any province of South Sudan, because South Sudan is a country which is fragile, which doesn't have that much resilience to cope with the climate change disaster or the climate change related disaster. So we are here to call upon, to make a collective call to the international community that these countries are bearing the biggest cost and they have to be assisted in a way that could help them to build that resilience. Our member countries, I can just give you an example. It includes Yemen, it includes South Sudan, Somalia, in African countries, Pacific, my own country, Afghanistan. All these countries are poor countries. They are fragile and they have been affected by conflict of decades. So any natural disaster cause here, a biggest devastation that lasts even longer. And the second thing that we are trying to do here, the climate finances that has been established to help these countries adapt. These countries have a lot of barriers to access those finances. In fact, they have not been given sufficient resources to deal with the consequences of the climate change. Like, if you look at the data, only 1/80th per capita of the climate finances have gone to these countries, which are very vulnerable. They are at the front line of dealing with the climate finances. So we will be launching a declaration by the UAE presidency, and we are partnering that. And we're also having a side event here to bring all these member countries from different fragile countries like Timor-Leste, Yemen, Somalia, Chad, to bring them and to provide a collective perspective on how the world or the international community can help them build their resilience so that they could have a better coping strategy.
Thanks a lot for your interview.